character, believed to have died back in 2020, became involved in the Corriedale crash. Inside his van, a woman was found tied up in the back, later revealed to be Jodie Ramsey. Although it has since been shown that Jodie is not someone to underestimate, the reason she ended up in the van and what led to that moment still remains unclear. More clues begin to surface in Emmerdale next week, when Rhona discovers Graham injured and covered in blood after a violent assault. Zoe Henry shared further insight, explaining that Rhona does not expect to encounter Graham. She reluctantly heads to Home Farm after being urged by Vanessa to check on Kim's horses. She senses the situation could be risky, but still goes. Upon arriving, she finds Graham badly beaten and, without her realizing at first, also stabbed. She immediately switches into medical mode, helps him inside, and attempts to treat his injuries. Despite her insistence on taking him to hospital, he refuses. Zoe also revealed that the attack is ultimately linked to Rhona. Jodie, the woman seen in the car during the Corriedale episode, was part of a job assigned to Graham. She managed to escape, meaning he failed his task. Rhona later realizes that Graham was targeted because she asked for his help in locating Dylan Penders a few days earlier. Had he not taken that risk, his location would have remained hidden. Graham had been keeping a low profile, hoping the situation would fade. However, when Dylan disappeared, Rhona begged for his assistance. By stepping in, he exposed himself, allowing the people he had been working for to track him down and punish him. This leads Rhona to feel responsible, but also relieved that she managed to find him in time. At the same time, the tension at Home Farm continues to build, with Graham making it increasingly obvious that he still has feelings for Rhona. He has expressed his love repeatedly, and at times it's clear she still feels something too. Despite this, she is held back, determined not to jeopardize her marriage. However, in true soap fashion, her resolve doesn't last forever. While caring for the injured Graham, the connection between them suddenly sparks again, stronger than before. As she tends to the wound on his side, the physical closeness brings back memories of their past. The intimacy of the moment rekindles old emotions, making the situation both thrilling and frightening for Rhona. Soon, she will be forced to choose between Marlon and Graham. Considering everything she and her family have recently endured, it seems her decision is already taking shape. The recent events involving April, along with the ordeal surrounding Celia and Ray, have strengthened Rhona's place in April's life, almost like a mother figure. Walking away from that bond would be just as difficult as leaving Marlon. There is also the question of how things would even work between her and Graham in the village. It feels nearly impossible, though in the world of soap dramas, nothing can ever be completely ruled out. New Emmerdale spoiler clips hint at a shocking and violent incident as emergency services rush to the scene. Rhona is finally forced to choose between her husband, Marlon Dingle, and her former partner, Graham Foster. Although she turns to Vanessa Woodfield for guidance, the final decision rests entirely on her shoulders as she considers what she truly wants for her future. Meanwhile, Jacob Gallagher continues to struggle under the harsh treatment of Dr. Caitlin Todd, whose workplace bullying shows no sign of easing. Her latest angry outburst is overheard by Kerry Wyatt, who quickly makes it clear that she won't ignore such behaviour. Tensions rise as the lives of Jacob, Kerry and Graham begin to intersect. Each of them, overwhelmed with emotion, gets into a car and drives off. At the same time, Cain Dingle unknowingly steps into danger when a speeding vehicle heads straight toward him, striking him and leaving him seriously injured on the ground. The drama intensifies as Rhona remains caught between her loyalty to Marlon and her growing feelings for Graham. Despite trying to stay committed to her marriage, her connection to Graham becomes harder to ignore, leading her to seek advice from Vanessa. Vanessa encourages her to be honest with herself and open with Marlon, pushing her to finally decide where her heart truly belongs. As emotions boil over, Jacob, Kerry and Graham all set off in their cars. Unaware of what's coming, Cain stands in the middle of the road, declaring his love to Moira Dingle, only to be suddenly hit by a vehicle. The question remains, who was driving Kyle Winchester later discovers Kane lying unconscious and, in a panic, calls for help. Clearly shaken, he tells the emergency operator that he fears his father might not survive. This raises the possibility that Kane's life could be in serious danger. Elsewhere, Jacob's ordeal continues as Dr. Caitlin Todd's harsh treatment grows even worse. He has kept quiet about the situation so far, but everything changes when Kerry overhears the confrontation. Angered by what she hears, Kerry steps in to defend Jacob, confronting the doctor directly. The clash between them escalates quickly. Now the question is whether Kerry's bold move will force a change in attitude, or if it will only make things even more difficult for Jacob moving forward. Emmerdale has revealed 3 possible suspects in the shocking storyline where Kane Dingle becomes the victim of a hit and run, leaving him fighting for his life by the roadside. The ITV soap recently introduced the dramatic plot, showing Kane struck by a speeding car while walking along a country road. According to insiders, he is left disoriented before being discovered by Kyle Winchester. As the episodes airing from the week beginning 6th of April unfold, both viewers and villagers are left questioning who could be responsible. Early preview clips have now pointed to 3 potential suspects: Kerry Wyatt, Jacob Gallagher, and Graham Foster. Although none of them appear to have a direct conflict with Kane, there may be an unexpected twist behind the incident. Kerry is dealing with personal turmoil as she seeks to end her marriage with Eric Pollard while secretly involved with Jai Sharma. At the same time, Jacob is under intense pressure at work due to the harsh behavior of his boss, Dr. Todd. Meanwhile, Graham is focused on causing trouble for Kim Tate. The preview shows all 3 characters appearing tense and unsettled around the time of the incident, though it remains unclear whether their anxiety is linked to their own personal issues or something more serious. Another teaser clip shows the moment Kyle discovers Kane lying injured at the roadside. He quickly calls for an ambulance, fearing that his father may not survive. During the incident, Kane is on the phone with his wife, Moira, when everything suddenly changes. One moment he is talking, and the next he is knocked down and left critically injured. In an instant, the situation takes a devastating turn, adding to the many challenges Kane is already facing. However, his immediate priority becomes getting urgent medical help as quickly as possible. Emmerdale has revealed a huge new twist in an early ITVX episode that could ultimately clear Moira Dingle's name. The crucial piece of evidence that could save her from spending the rest of her life in prison is currently hidden somewhere on the grounds of Celia Daniels' former farm, but the problem is that nobody knows it exists. Celia, a dangerous figure, was killed earlier this year by her son Ray Walters, who secretly buried her body on land belonging to Butler's farm. Nearby, another grave concealed the body of a refugee named Anya. Ruby Milligan, who had known Anya, began to suspect something was wrong after a remark from Bear Wolf. Acting on her instincts, she uncovered the grave and contacted the police, completely unaware that another body would also be found. Because both bodies were discovered on her land, Moira is now facing accusations of double murder. As if that wasn't enough, a scheme involving Joe Tate has also put her at risk of being charged with modern slavery. Joe manipulated the situation by instructing Robert Sugden to plant identification cards from Celia's home at Butler's farm, making it appear as though Moira was involved in the crimes linked to Celia's property. The biggest issue for Moira is the lack of proof to show she is innocent, but that may have just changed. Paddy Kirk and Marlon Dingle decide to visit Celia's farm as they try to confront their own emotional struggles. Outside the house, they come across a pile of old furniture and begin smashing it, using it as a way to release their anger. The episode focuses closely on both men and the challenges they are dealing with. Paddy is worried about his upcoming trial, while Marlon is struggling with the fear that Rhona Goskirk might leave him for Graham Foster. During their time together, they also reflect on everything that happened with Celia and Ray. Although destroying the furniture helps release some frustration, they ultimately find that opening up and speaking honestly is far more helpful. While discussing the events at the farm, Marlon notices a key labelled HSU 107. Since the police had already searched the property, both men assume the key is unimportant and think nothing more of it. However, elsewhere in Houghton, a storage unit marked 107 is shown to be filled with documents, evidence that could potentially prove Moira's innocence. With Marlon and Paddy dismissing the key as irrelevant, no one currently has a reason to return to the farm. The question now is whether anyone will realise its importance in time to uncover the truth. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.